and welcome to Advertising Champions, your go-to destination for all insights into advertising and marketing communications. I'm your host, Tony Stanall, and today we're with an old friend of mine, Lupe de los Santos of Sentidos in Frisco, Texas. Welcome, Lupe.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, when I look up Lupe de los Santos in the dictionary, I see a picture of you, and then it's all about multicultural marketing. So tell us about what's going on in that area these days.
You know what? It is on fire. All the data points to win in any business today. If you're not winning with multicultural audiences, you're not going to win. You look at the majority of the big states out there, from California to Florida, New York, Texas, the majority is now the minority. So I think we might want to flip that terminology sometime soon. But yeah, that's what's happening, and literally everybody's trying to figure it out.
Right. And you've navigated the world through advertising, through marketing side, a stint with Procter & Gamble. Tell us a little about your journey.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I was born and raised in South Texas. And what's interesting about South Texas is that the general market, if you want to use that term, is Latino, is Hispanic, right? And so I never knew I was doing Latino marketing when I was starting my career down in South Texas, until there was an opportunity to go to New York and work for a big ad agency. And when I sat there and started realizing what my secret sauce was, what I was bringing to the table was, I understood this audience, this consumer, pretty much better than most, right? And so it was obviously an amazing time. And so being able to come from that part of the world, I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell, and the 10,000 hour rule. So I was really lucky that I was born and raised in that kind of environment. So yeah, I hit the 10,000 hours probably a few years ago. Let's put it that way.
Right. And now there have been a number of companies that have dipped in and then tried it, maybe didn't have any continuity in it, but firms like Procter & Gamble, they had a long-standing dedication to the multicultural target.
Sure. So I have a very interesting point of view in the fact that I've spent time on the agency side. So I worked with a lot of different amazing creative agencies and all types of experiential marketing agencies. I've just spent time in Spanish language media. So I know from a media perspective what's out there and what's happening. And also the corporate side, because I spent some time at the Clorox company as well as Procter & Gamble. And so understanding how all those areas connect is a very unique position. So I think you're right, though, Tony. I've been doing this almost 30 years, so it's been a little bit, and so I've seen the cycles of when it's really hot and everybody's talking about it, and then everybody says, okay, let's go to a total market model, or it goes in and out. And I think right now, in the 30 years I've been doing this, I'm seeing like the fourth cycle. Wow. But what's different now, and what's different now than before is that there's no misinterpretation of the data, and the data that exists now that didn't exist 25 years ago, it all points into you have to win. And so Procter & Gamble, Clorox Company, General Mills, Unilever, all those folks, my peers, everybody that I work with, honestly, almost, and you've heard several of them say, 100% of the growth of their businesses across multiple categories is coming from diverse communities. So that's just a fact. So that's what's going on right now. And so the fact that they've called that out, they've made it public, all the investors know that that's where you got to go. That's where people like me, come to help, and that's what I do.
Great. We have just a few seconds left, but give us a success story from what you're doing at Sentidos.
So there was a brand, actually an adult beverage brand from Spain, that's called Accord 43. And they were this mixologist down in Mexico created this cocktail called a carajillo, which is basically kind of like an Irish coffee. You put a little liqueur with some coffee, and it's amazing after dinner drink. And it took off. It was on fire. And they came to me to say, hey, Lupe, we think there's an opportunity with U.S. Hispanics in the, obviously in the U.S. because of what's happening in Mexico. So they came to me, helped rebrand, relaunch the product, focused on that. And to be honest, this was about 7 years ago. They were doing a few thousand cases a year at most. And last I saw publicly, they're doing over 100,000 cases now, just because it became a cultural insight phenomenon that was going on organically that we were able to tap into and bring it to the US. And so that's what I'm really known for. And that's what I'm really good at, is identifying these really amazing cultural insights and bringing them to life and making them relevant to your brands here in this country.
That's great. And it's a great example too. Thanks for packaging it in that way. Sometimes people, don't know where to start and when to finish, but, and people could find you at Sentidos LLC.com. Is that your location?
That is correct. Yep, that is correct. They can find me there, and they can also find me on LinkedIn, Lupe de los Santos on LinkedIn, for sure.
Very cool. Well, nice seeing you again, Lupe. Have yourself
great
a good
seeing
day.
you, Tony. It's always great. Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Advertising Champions. You could find further information about what we do, our podcasts, at dailynewsnetwork.com. And we'll see you next time.
We've been around for 16 years, working with clients, with thousands of clients. We're working with agencies to be able to scale them and grow them and provide them services that would cost them way more than it would for them to do it themselves. Anything oriented around lead generation, video creation, web design, we're full service, so we can really serve most people.